I'm Karla Schafer, designer for Anti-Speeds, and I'll be demonstrating how to do a rosary loop using a pair of wire looping pliers and a pair of round nose pliers. The first tool I'm going to demonstrate is going to be the wire looping tool. Let me show you the wire looping tool. And the wire looping tool has a concave channel in the bottom jaw, and it's got 3 levels for the diameter on the upper part. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm using a 1.5 inch head pin, and I'm going to drop on my bead, and I'm going to use these flat nose pliers to form my right angle over the top of my bead. And these are really kind of great because you don't really have to mangle your wire and move the bead around too much. So I'm going to place them just above the bead and form my right angle. And then we're going to measure this wire 3/8 inch, and we're actually going to cut it just under 3/8 inch. Okay, so now that I've got my ruler, I'm just going to lay this on my ruler here, and I'm going to cut just below 3/8 inch. So I'm going to find my 3/8 inch notch, take my nipper tool, and I'm actually just going to cut just below it. And then we'll be ready to make our rosary loop. Alright, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take the pliers and we're going to put the very tip into the plier and bend and mash it down. And I'm using the very tip because I want a small loop. And then we're just going to rotate it and roll it. And then release it. And then you'll have, you can make adjustments to it with your pliers. And then we've got a perfect rosary loop. As I said, I use the very tip. If you want a larger loop, you would go up on the plier. But this is a pretty much perfect way to make a rosary loop. Now I'll also demonstrate how to make a rosary loop with just round nose pliers. The steps for dropping the head pin and making a right angle over the head of the bead is just the same as I did when I was using a wire looping tool. So I've already done this, and all I'm going to do now, and again the same thing applies as to how large you want your loop. And if you want a larger loop, you may even want to cut your wire just a little bit longer. But again, I'm just going to use the midpoint here, and again I'm going to start at the end, and I'm just going to rotate my plier, make the tool work for you, until I get it. And I'm even going to make a small adjustment here, and again we have just a perfect rosary loop.